this evening. Concerned families continue to inquire about their incarcerated loved ones. The kidnapped taxi driver has been found, and he credits his young son for his release. Reggae artist Lambi encourages us to look at the brighter side of things. Much to the disappointment of its neighbors, like a phoenix from the ashes, Camp Street may rise again. In the region, in Venezuela, the troubled nation prepares to rewrite the Constitution as the opposition reached 100 days of protests. And internationally, U.S. President Donald Trump's eldest son admits to meeting a Russian lawyer during last year's presidential election.
From Safe TV headquarters in South Rivell Gardens, this is Safe TV Headline News with George Gonzalez.
Headline News is now being streamed live on our YouTube channel. Join us. This Sunday's massive fire and the resulting destruction could have been considered unimaginable in the past. But the fact that the Camp Street prison is likely to be no more is a welcomed concept to many in Georgetown, especially residents and businesses around the Lot 12 area. However, as Wendell Jeffrey will share, the authorities might dash the hopes of those who are counting out the Camp Street area as a place of continued incarceration of prisoners.
The Camp Street prison is probably likely to be a place of the past. And that might be good news, especially for the residents and business owners in the area. George, of all the incidences that the prison has encountered over the years, breakouts, disease epidemics, previous fire sabotages, boycotts, and flooding, the inferno on Sunday night proved too much for the aged wooden buildings. But the story behind the story is that the fire got the better of Guyana's finest firemen. They battled the blazes despite being shot at, pelted with wood, bricks, and metal strips. And even despite the odds that were provided by the huge flames from the mostly wooden building, the firefighters risked life and limb to salvage whatever they could of the Georgetown prisons. Some civilians joined in to assist the fight, but were soon overpowered with the reality of the size of the fire, and they soon retreated and abandoned ship. At times, the fire hoses provided a faint mist of water because there were not sufficient working hydrants, coupled with the lack of other sources of useful water. A burnt, tangled web of busted fire hoses tell the story of the kind of night the firefighters had. However, the cleanup work has commenced in earnest. Both yesterday and today, the folks from the Guyana Power and Light, the Guyana Water Incorporated, and private contractors providing miscellaneous cleanup services were seen removing debris from the prison yard. It was hoped that lights to the prison and the surrounding homes that were knocked out by the fire would be completely restored by today. The firemen are busy with their investigations that officials say can take weeks to complete, as the place has first got to cool sufficiently. It is unclear if anyone perished in the intense blaze. When Headline News visited the site today, we saw fever-pitch efforts being made to clean up the surrounding concrete buildings that survived the inferno. It is obvious that the authorities are readying the place to house some of the still displaced inmates. George, while many may be displeased about any relocation of some of the inmates back to the Camp Street site, they must all remember that until otherwise gazetted, Lot 12 Camp Street is still officially a prison. Reporting for Channel 2 Headline News, I am Wendell Jeffrey.
Thanks, Wendell. Despite the depressing state of current affairs, there is one thing to smile about. Reggae artist Lambi has released a new single. I sat down with him and learned more about this song. Reggae artiste Lambi is considered one of the trailblazers of Guyanese music history. His positive lyrics and melodic voice has been enjoyed by listeners for over 2 decades.
All of the people that stop me on the street and ask me for something new, ask me, well, man, Lambi, when you gonna bring something new? And give me that encouragement, the motivation, you know? People that encourage me tell me, well, look, Lambi, you're one of my favorite artists. Enough respect to you, you know, because you come in as a motivator to I, you know, to continue this work.
Hating to ever leave his fans down, Lambi delivered.
Protect the woman and children. Don't let your badness destroy them. Protect the woman and children. Don't let your violence destroy them. Protect the woman and children. Don't let your weakness destroy them. Protect the woman and children. Don't let society destroy them. Blessed love.
The song entitled Women and Children is on his latest studio album, The Brighter Side of Things. He feels that the positive message his music conveys is something that is needed and will be appreciated.
And I think so that today, in Guyana and around the world, you know, we need a message like this. You know, speaking to our brothers, speaking to our sisters, you know, telling our brothers to refrain from battling up on our sisters, because as man, you know, we all have this macho part of us. And many times we bring it out. So instead of battling up on our sisters and our youths and things and, you know, leading them astray, let us protect them, watch over, make sure well, the youths come in the right aspect of life, educated. You know, our woman is protected so she can function properly, groom the youths properly in the home.
The song is currently on the radio and can be found online.
You can get it picked up. Call Daryl Pugsley, link Daryl Pugsley right now. Pick it up, all the song man them. You can pick it up on Non-Partial Entertainments on Facebook, on YouTube, you don't know. And we'll have it on iTunes, as I said before, and SoundCloud. So just look out for it. We be marketing and promoting this song. So when we're about to launch it properly, you know what I mean, we let the massive them know well where they can pick it up fully, you know what I'm saying?
Each one, iron sharpen iron. Wise mind come take firm stance, we not ignorant.
Kidnapped taxi driver says his toddler saved his life. That was the assertion of 22-year-old Matthew Shivtahal. After begging for his life, for the sake of his young son, the 4 escaped inmates let him go. The young man recounted his harrowing tale to reporters this morning. He had asked to have his face off camera. Here's a clip.
The south backlines, and then you keep going down south, keep walking south, crossing a lot of trenches, going down to land the Canaan, 7 shoes. When we reach there, you're supposed to go over the big trench. And I can't swim, so they said instead of they slow me down, before I slow them down, best they throw me in down. And I begging them and tell them to get one euro, son, that I wouldn't like you to go so far though. And they said just because they tell me though, I wouldn't let you go. Come on, show me the way where to go, walk down the road, show the down, show me where to go, cross over like 4 swamp, over a set of bridges, cut off my foot, set things in my foot, till last night 10 o'clock I came out. Since 12 Sunday night that I walked in.
Which one said that because you said that to them they won't kill you? Which one of them?
So where exactly they found you?
Nobody didn't find me.
Where you
came out?
I came out Annandale.
From Canaan to Annandale?
Yeah.
So the path that they lead you, that they told you about to follow,
Straight down
lead
to
you
the
straight to Annandale?
Yeah, straight down to East Coast and come out.
Which one pointed you in that direction?
Someone tell me where to go.
Who was the leader of all of those men?
Currently I can't.
Coming up on Headline News after the break. Minibus driver killed in midday robbery. And local charity brings smiles to the elderly.
Sometimes there's just too much information to keep up with when you're pregnant. What you should and should not eat, what kind of exercise is right for you, how to handle mood changes, even how to determine when it's time for delivery.
Don't let your pregnancy be a burden. Watch The Baby Story on Safe TV Channel 2 every weekday from 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. Now you can know all you need to know from conception to delivery when you watch The Baby Story on Safe TV Channel 2.
Need a ride around town and beyond? Look no further than Oasis Ride Taxi Service. With affordable prices and some of the best drivers in the business, we've been delivering prompt and reliable service to Guyana for over 16 years. We also offer tours, chauffeur service, and even car rentals. You can call us at 231-5554 or 225-5496. For deals, specials, and more information, find our page on Facebook. Oasis Ride Taxi Service. Let's go.
Seems like people will try just about anything to lose weight these days. But nothing works better than proper dieting and exercise. So if you're guilty of eating the wrong foods, not finding time to exercise, or can't afford a gym, join Safe TV Channel 2 for Body and Spirit. Aerobics workout with Dick Nunez.
Hello, I'm Dick Nunez. Welcome to Body and Spirit Aerobics.
Weekday mornings from 7 a.m. to 7:30 a.m. Don't hesitate. Act now, because your greatest wealth is your health.
There might be some light at the end of the tunnel for most of those who were concerned that their families might have suffered the same fate as those in the 2016 prison fire that saw some 18 inmates being burned to death. It is confirmed by the government that that is not the case. And while only 8 are unaccounted for, there is definitely no repeat of the last year's situation. What our reporter Wendell Jeffrey will tell us is that there is a different kind of concern from family members.
Thomas, Vigil Sanichar, Michael Caesar, Trevor Parks, Travis Charles, Radish Tandel, Devon Castillo, Nicholas Narain, Trevor Abrams, Danrad Sambar.
And so it went all day. 1,010 of the 1,018 inmates accounted for, much to the delight of worried family members. However, as the dust settles on the historic fire that just about wiped out the Georgetown prison, a sense of misplaced hopes is beginning to provide unrealistic expectations from both inmates and their families alike. Headline News visited the Louisiana prison today and spoke to the families, many of whom were lined up in the hot sun for most of the day. They were there either to take meals for their loved ones, or they were there to have a chance to see their family members. However, what Channel 2 Headline News found out was that many of the family members were there because they heard that some of the inmates were going to be sent home. Many of those who were gathered for that particular purpose did not want to speak to us, but one lady did.
I'm here to come to receive my son because they set out to free some prisoners who got short sentence, and I'm out here today to receive my son, but I ain't get no word as yet from in there.
The mother said that her son, who is a 22-year-old first-time offender, got 5 years in prison for stealing a bicycle. She also said that her son is mentally ill, and she is concerned that the institution cannot properly take care of him.
My concern is that I need my son to be out of jail. That is my concern. And the health facilities is not healthy right now because he's sick. He's a psyche patient. And right about now, at this present moment, he's sick. He's trembling in the air. And I need them to hear me.
Some of the relatives also expressed another reason for wanting their family members released.
Because I'm concerned about the facility that he's in. It's not healthy there where he at. It's not healthy there at all. I don't like they got snake, they be killing snake in there, them and getting things for eat, them and getting water for drink. You know, it's not healthy there.
In rare footage, Headline News viewed the preparatory works being done to accommodate the burnt-out residents of the Lot 12 Camp Street. Headline News saw employees of the public infrastructure busy with leveling the ground, driving piles, whilst others work steadily to better situate the some 1,000 displaced inmates. On hand to oversee the execution of the work was the permanent secretary. Headline News attempted to secure a comment from him. We wanted to know what kind of a facility was being constructed, how many persons they were catering for, or when they expected the work to be completed. George, the permanent secretary, said that he was not authorized to speak to the press. For Channel 2 Headline News, I am Wendell Jeffrey.
Thanks, Wendell. Midday today, a Route 32 minibus driver was shot in the head during an alleged robbery. He has been identified as 35-year-old Tedroy James. According to reports, a male passenger boarded the bus and forced the driver to stop at Macdoom on the east bank of Demerara. At that location, two males who were waiting along the roadside forced the passengers to exit the bus at gunpoint. This had occurred shortly after 11:30 a.m. today. However, as the man was about to exit the minibus at Macdoom, the two male suspects, one of them armed with a handgun, pounced on the unsuspecting passengers in the bus and began to rob them. He reportedly told the passengers that it was a robbery. Hearing this, James attempted to drive the passengers away to safety. Unfortunately, the gunman fired, striking James in the back of the head. He was rushed to Georgetown Public Hospital, where he was pronounced dead on arrival. According to Newsroom, hours later, a member of the Guyana Defense Force and his twin brother were picked up for the murder of the minibus driver. One of the brothers, Curtis Vasconcelos, is out on bail for robbery and attempted murder. He and another young man, Jason Howard, led the police on a high-speed chase along the city streets in November 2016 after robbing an accountant of the Tower Suites Hotel. For 8 years now, the Caregivers Association has been employing every effort to make the lives of the Agricola senior residents pleasant. On CARICOM Day last, the association hosted their annual event of the residents. Wendell Jeffrey was a part of the event.
George, with the theme All is Well as the backdrop, the seniors of the Agricola area received their annual pampering from the Caregivers Association a couple of Sundays ago. Norisa Pickett from the Sturdiville Seventh-day Adventist Church provided them with a warm and involved welcome.
When we say all will be well, you are telling the devil that no matter what he throws at you, it will be well. Let me hear someone say, it will be well. It will be well.
They were treated to a sumptuous meal with lots to drink, and they also received care packages containing personal items. No sacrifice was spared to make the seniors feel special. Coordinator and founder of the Caregivers Great Movement Association, Ingrid Cadell, addressed those in attendance.
And so we have activities right through the year. We take our seniors to Splash Mill. It used to be January, but now it's March. And let me tell you something. Why we had to shift it to March? Because there are unscrupulous people out there. They're ready to take advantage of this group, this great movement, the movement that has 3/4 of its members, seniors.
She said that she appreciates the assistance her organization receives from the current administration.
The ministry, the government is so good to us. Good to us. But
Mayor Cheers Green was also on hand to buoy the spirits of the seniors as she made some useful comparisons.
In my days, and I born a little time ago, you know, a good little time ago, there was something a young child could not have done in the streets. A young child playing in the street, a neighbor, could have cautioned that child and even spanked that child. And if you go home, you're afraid to stay at home because you will get licked the second time. But do we have that now? We don't have that now. We have parents going into schools and the same teacher that have to mold your child and educate your child are being assaulted.
The Agricola seniors were also serenaded by Mr. Timothy Blair.
Passionately is to be what you call me to be.
The attendees were further entertained by presentations of miming, by interpretive dancing, and from other performances from the members of the Stewartville Seventh-day Adventist Church. Another year, George, another appreciative event for the seniors of the Agricola area. Reporting for Channel 2 Headline News, I am Wendell Jeffrey.
Thanks, Wendell. Still ahead, we have our regional and international news.
Sometimes there's just too much information to keep up with when you're pregnant. What you should and should not eat, what kind of exercise is right for you, how to handle mood changes, even how to determine when it's time for delivery.
Don't let your pregnancy be a burden. Watch The Baby Story on Safe TV Channel 2 every weekday from 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. Now you can know all you need to know from conception to delivery when you watch The Baby Story on Safe TV Channel 2.
Need a ride around town and beyond? Look no further than Oasis Ride Taxi Service. With affordable prices and some of the best drivers in the business, we've been delivering prompt and reliable service to Guyana for over 16 years. We also offer tours, chauffeur service, and even car rentals. You can call us at 231-5554 or 225-5496. For deals, specials, and more information, find our page on Facebook. Oasis Ride Taxi Service. Let's go.
Seems like people will try just about anything to lose weight these days. But nothing works better than proper dieting and exercise. So if you're guilty of eating the wrong foods, not finding time to exercise, or can't afford a gym, join Safe TV Channel 2 for Body and Spirit. Aerobics workout with Dick Nunez.
Hello, I'm Dick Nunez. Welcome to Body and Spirit Aerobics.
Weekday mornings from 7 a.m. to 7:30 a.m. Don't hesitate. Act now, because your greatest wealth is your health.
In news from the region now, in Venezuela, yesterday marked 100 straight days of anti-government protests in the neighboring South American nation. This as the date of the Constituent Assembly approaches. Al Jazeera has that story.
Emboldened by the release from prison of opposition leader Leopoldo López, thousands of anti-government protesters gathered in Caracas to mark the 100th day since the beginning of the unrest in Venezuela.
It's been many days, 100 days of fighting already, and many mothers like me that were afraid to come out and face the government's repression. But today I have overcome fear. I said I'm going out for the future of my son.
Lopez was surprisingly granted house arrest on Saturday after 3 years in jail, with the Supreme Court citing health reasons and irregularities in his case for the release. His supporters are promising more street demonstrations, confident that they're having an effect. Lopez's wife confirmed they're going to continue to hold the government to account.
There was no negotiation to release Leopoldo. It was a unilateral decision by the government of Nicolas Maduro. We don't negotiate freedom. We don't negotiate human rights. We don't negotiate dignity.
Scuffles broke out between some protesters and security forces at the end of the event, but nothing compared to the violence of past months that has already left more than 90 people dead. 4 years of out-of-control inflation and shortages have been fueling the protest. President Maduro blames international interference for the chaos. He's hoping to regain the initiative with a vote at the end of the month to elect a new political body called the Constituent Assembly, which would rewrite the constitution. Critics say he's trying to strengthen presidential power.
On July the 30th, we are playing between war and peace. On July the 30th, we are going to decide if Venezuela is going to war and they intervene, imperialists, militarily, or Venezuela takes a new way on the road to peace.
The campaign to elect the members of this Constituent Assembly started on Sunday and will continue until July 27th. The problem is only government supporters are participating since the opposition has decided to boycott the vote. Instead, they will hold an unofficial referendum next Sunday asking Venezuelans if they do indeed want to change the constitution or if they would prefer to hold early presidential elections instead. It will be only a symbolic vote, but one that shows that the political collision course in Venezuela continues with no end in sight. Alessandro Ampietti, Al Jazeera, Cucuta.
And internationally, U.S. President Donald Trump's son has admitted to meeting a Russian lawyer last year, who, he says, promised to reveal damaging material on Hillary Clinton. The president's son-in-law, Jared Kushner, and then campaign head Paul J. Manafort were also at the meeting. BBC News has more.
Back in Washington, Donald and Melania Trump arrived home from the G20 summit in Germany to face more questions about the president's relationship with Russia. Following his first face-to-face meeting with President Putin, Donald Trump suggested the two countries could work together on a cybersecurity unit. But following criticism from his own party, the president appeared to back down on the idea. In a tweet, he said, "The fact that President Putin and I discussed a cybersecurity unit doesn't mean I think it can happen." The president is still under huge pressure over claims of Russian interference in last year's election.
There's not anybody that thinks that Russia didn't meddle in the elections. I think we all are very clear on that, and I think we're going to see what Congress does.
But the key issue isn't what Russia did, it's whether Trump's team colluded with Russia to influence the election. And that's what the FBI and Congress are investigating. Now the New York Times says they have evidence at least some in the campaign were willing to accept Russian help. They say sources have told them President Trump's eldest son, Donald Trump Jr., and his son-in-law, Jared Kushner, met with this woman, Natalia Veselnitskaya, a Russian lawyer with links to the Kremlin, in June last year, on the promise of being given damaging information about Hillary Clinton. Trump Jr. has denied anything of significance came from the meeting. Donald Trump has made it clear he didn't know anything about it. But this is thought to be the first confirmed meeting between a Russian national and a member of the president's inner circle. No doubt investigators will be keen to know more about how and why it came about. Samantha Simmons, BBC News.
And that's Channel 2 Headline News for this Wednesday evening. As we take... Wait, it's Tuesday. Right, Tuesday, right? Sorry. And that's Channel 2 Headline News for this Tuesday evening. As we take our leave, we invite you to find Channel 2 Headline News on Facebook, YouTube, and SafeTVGuyana.com. You can also tune in tomorrow morning at 6:30 for a rebroadcast, and Wednesday evening at 7 o'clock for more news. For now, I'm George Gonzalez, signing out from this newscast, saying thank you for welcoming us into your homes, and do have a blessed evening.